All right, hello again. Taking a little break from work, and I might as well, make the most out of it and get some practice in. So, I was recently doing a little bit of prospecting. I work in sales, and I was doing a little bit of LinkedIn connecting and things like that. And I've been re-listening to the most recent interview that Lindsay or Lijo did with Shan Powers of Objective Personality. I've been listening to that interview again and again, but I specifically listened to it for a little bit today. And, one thing that Lindsay mentioned was she was like, "Hey, I really respect SI, but I don't understand it. Why is it so granular? Why is it, asking me to do all these random weird specific steps? My SE, my NI just want to be sloppy and be like, just do the general principle, right? That's my little bias there. But, and so as I was listening to that, I kind of felt like, oh, wait, I am doing at least a little bit of what Shan describes as SI. Maybe that's me peacocking, but I do think like with my morning habits, my evening habits, and then just my overall approach even to progress, I do think that there is a little mini SI person in me, right? And so I do want to kind of just talk a little bit about why SI manifests in a way that might be a little bit strange for people who don't have SI in their stack, what the value of that is, hopefully, and then, just for people who want to, either build their SI or, try and at least understand SI if they don't have it in their stack, hopefully I can contribute to that. So let's start off. We're going to start off actually with the checklist. This is my personal checklist. I'll put the link in description. It is very messy though right now, so don't even think about that. But let's start with defining our terms. So SI is technically, so in the objective personality system, everything is decomposed into binary coins, right? At the end of the day, there's just 9 binary coins that add up into certain functions, animals, types, and so on. Now, what that means is that SI technically doesn't exist, right? We use that as a shorthand, but really what's going on is SI is really a shorthand for 2 things, right? One, it would be OI, the human need of OI, and then 2, the temperament of sensing. So let me break that down. So OI is defined in a few places, right? So OI is defined as having a way. I'm going to actually use these definitions. So when more information is needed, OI goes back to familiar info sources, right? So this is the person who looks in the room for the 90th time for the same set of keys, right? Even though that, they looked 50 times. Or, they give an example in one of their videos of, let's say you're looking for a new car, the person with OI is going to look on CarMax 50 times, whereas someone with OE would look on 50 different websites one time, right? So OI is very much about familiarity and wants the same info. And then, it's as a consequence, it typically wants to over control and systematize, right? Now, what sensing means in contrast is grounding, proving, reporting realistic facts and specifics. And so what that means when you combine OI with sensing, what it looks like is you are satisfying your need for certainty and for familiarity by going back to known factual information, by going back to known facts, by going back to known reports, right? And things like that. Now, why does this then manifest as this weird specificity of, hey, you need to fill out this one specific form, or hey, I need you to change, like they give an example in the Lindsay gives an example in the interview, or no, Shanda, sorry, where she's talking about how, man, I am blanking on her name. Martha Stewart, sorry, where Martha Stewart has this weird habit of changing her bed sheets every other week or every week or something like that. And Shannon was like, why would you do that? Like, change them completely. So I'm going to first do this. I'm going to reference this video. This video is really good. SI, Trusting the Process. I don't know if you guys know Clara. I don't know if she's still in the community, but back when she was, she did make a really good video summarizing what SI feels from a first person point of view. And then I'm going to go finally to the Lindsay interview where they talk a little bit about SI and then just kind of put all this together. So let's start with this. I think she does a really great job here.
Then kind of like get your thoughts on it.
There's a lot to say about structure when it comes to SI. When you look at things through SI, you literally see the structure in the thing. And here comes my analogy. I came up with it yesterday night as I could not fall asleep. And listen, if you ever played role-playing games, you will know that there is a certain mechanic that's going on that's like you know that you have to solve a mystery, and you are being told that this one guy knows something about it. So you go to him, you ask him if he can help you, and he says, maybe I can help you, but you need to do this quest for me. So he sends you off to some other guy who says, maybe I can help you, but you need to do this quest for me. And he sends you off to another guy. So you keep making these quests so that in order to proceed to this final solution. And I think SI is kind of seeing this net of interconnections. You know, it's looking at the whole quest from above and seeing that if you want to do this, you need to do that, and in order to do this, you need to do that, and in order to do this, you need to do that.
All right, really great video. Highly recommend it. So breaking that down is so let me take a step back. As opposed to NI, right? NI does this chapter talking or this step-by-step process in the abstract realm. So let's say so perfect example. Let's use James Clear, right? So James Clear's approach to Atomic Habits. James Clear, I don't know if you guys read the book, it's an amazing book, but James Clear, what he did is he broke down what a habit is abstractly, right? So he came up with 4 abstract steps for habit formation, right? So I think it's cue, craving, response, and reward in his system, right? Or another good example is David Allen's Getting Things Done, where he breaks down all of any type of work into abstract steps, right? Capture, clarify, organize, reflect, and act. What SI is doing in contrast is it's looking at, it will even take an NI system, right? So for Atomic Habits, I read his book. I was like, oh, okay, there are these 4 steps. But then what I started looking for is there a specific amount of time that I need to do for each step, right? And so James Clear in his book, he talks about the 2-minute rule, but his NI glosses over that and says, fuck all that. My SI is building on each of those steps, right? So it's like, okay, James Clear said I need to, so for example, he says I need to decide the type of person that I want to be. So I need to SI write down the type of person that I want to be. Step 2 is I need to SI write down what I'm willing to do to become that person. And then step 3 is I need to SI put on a timer and then start 30 seconds of each win, right? So it's like it gets very, 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 very granular for me. Similarly with Getting Things Done, same thing, right? So I'm taking this NI concept, okay, you have these 5 abstract steps, but then I'm breaking it down into, okay, what is the very first step? What does capture mean? Okay, so that means that I need to SI create a habit of opening my document, and SI I need to put in 5 different items. So hopefully you're getting the point. SI is not just trusting the abstract, even if it's organized in the case of NI, it is then saying what is the specific fact or the specific process so that I know for sure that I'm doing it right, right? So there's a very much of this kind of anxiety of I need to make sure that I'm doing it precisely right. So I need every little step so that, as Claudia was saying, it's like, I need this tiny specific step to make sure that I'm done. And then that's going to let me go to the next tiny specific step. And then you're building that way. So finally, I'm going to go ahead and play the excerpt from Lindsay and Shan, and then hopefully put all this together. So let me go ahead and do that.
So to SI, introverted sensing, I think... Yeah, so it's an interesting function. I admire SI so much, and it baffles me in so many ways, and I have so much respect for it, and then I also, absolutely, loathe it if I'm having to, face it sometimes,
you have to do it, yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah, it's just, there's something about it that, it almost feels painful to do, but I'm I have so much respect for this thing.
Yeah.
But, I'm supposed to know that, you check, I did this video on SI where it was, I found these cleaning lists that people create, people who are really good at the SI cleaning stuff,
right?
That brought attention to the fact that I didn't even know that you're supposed to wash a wall or wash it and then I looked at my door, I'm oh my gosh, it's filthy, and I'm this.
Okay, so stopping there. So this is a perfect example of what I was talking about, right? So and it's interesting because both of these people, so Lindsay and Shan, are both on the SCNI axis, right? And so what ends up happening is they're looking at the SI checklist and they're how could I have intuitively known this SI specific thing? And they get frustrated because it's not intuitively obvious to them, right? Because again, NI is organizing based on abstract. But with SI, the truth is with SI, We didn't fucking know either. Like, when we start organizing a thing, we don't start by saying, oh, I know we need to clean this. No, what ends up happening is, let's say you have a goal to clean the house. What the SI is going to do is going to do research. I mean, depending what type you are, but it's going to ask itself ultimately, what are the specific universal steps that everyone's, well, this is my DE, but what are the specific universal steps so that I'm absolutely positive that when I clean this place, I'm cleaning it right. So that's when they start going into websites of cleaning, whether it's cleaning wood, or they start buying things and they're reading the instruction manuals, right? And they're like, okay, I know for sure. So for example, let's say it's cleaning the door. I know for example, I probably need this, I don't know what it is, but I need this specific chemical to break down these specific acids so that when I clean it, I know exactly that it's clean and it's sanitized and everything like that. And so for people with the SENI, because they're just jumping to, hey, everything should be the same. Every like, they're sloppy. I don't know how to word it. That's my bias. NISE is sloppy because they're clumping everything into these abstract categories. The advantage of that is that they're faster at getting shit done because there are a lot of overlaps between things. But then when it comes to things like, for example, Lindsay saying cleaning the house, she's shocked because she's like, well, this isn't fitting my abstract general rule of cleaning, right? It's not fitting these GTD 5 steps, or it's not fitting this James Clear 4 steps. Now I'm in trouble because now I have to actually do consume, which is, by the way, going to be hell for her because she's consumed last, and now I'm mad. Whereas the SI person is looking at you like, yo, just because you know the abstract steps doesn't, like, everything is specific and unique. So it's like, just because you know the abstract version of cleaning doesn't mean you know how to clean a door, right? A door is specific. So there's a more specific way to do that. So anyway, in summary, SI is built different. Okay. It is not NI. There are overlaps in the sense of both SI and NI are building according to steps, right? Step by step. But whereas NI is building based on abstract steps that they want to universalize, right? So for example, GTD's 5 steps for getting any type of work done, or James Clear's 4 steps to setting any type of habit, right? The SI wants to be specific as possible and make sure that whatever they decide on is as universal as possible so that whenever they go to, for example, clean a door, they know precisely how to clean a door and they're not leaving it up to chance. So that's about it. I will put links for both the SI excerpt from Clara as well as the Lindsay and Shan interview in the description. I hope that, you guys enjoyed this. Hope this was coherent, right? Because, I'm SI last, so who fucking knows? But other than that, hope you guys are doing well. And I will see you guys in a little bit. Take care.